Welcome to Amorgate Radio Communication. I'm Kola Johnson, your host on this wonderful program, Leadership, Technology, and the Future. And this is the 7th installment for this quarter on this particular program. I believe it's been insightful, it's been a brilliant time, and it's been worth your time, where you learn about leadership in business with a global outlook. Today is another wonderful day, a wonderful Tuesday, where we bring another wonderful, amiable, informative program your way on this same theme of leadership, technology, and the future. Today, I'll be discussing leaders, story architects, and crafters of digital narrative in the era of intelligent machines. I'll say that again. Leaders, story architects, and crafters of digital narrative in the era of intelligent machines. Yes, we are in the era of intelligent machines, and no doubt about that. So what we want to do is to unpack a single urgent idea that I believe that every leader has, and that is leadership is changing. The idea that leadership is changing now from command and control to designing powerful narratives. And in the era of intelligent machines, the leader's craft is part strategic. That is, part of what you want to do as a leader is part strategic, part storyteller, and part architect of digital meaning. So we've said it over and again, I've said it over and again on this program, the AI, artificial intelligence, gives you what we call the data, the raw form of the data, but you as the leader, you give meaning to that data. You give the human face to it. So we are the architect of digital meaning. We give meaning to the digital age we have found ourselves, the balls around all of these things. So, and I want to begin with this. I want you to imagine with me, and this is 2028, we're in 2025, but I want you to work with your imagination right now. In 2028, and you are Zara. We all know Zara, right? You are Zara, a 32-year-old climate activist in Lagos, leading a global youth network. I imagine that you've got a TED Talk deadline in 48 hours. Follow me, right? The stakes are, these are the stakes. So you are rallying 10 million viewers to fund reforestation in the Amazon. You sit at your desk, laptop glowing, and AI, just speak to the AI, craft my story. That's what you whisper. AI, craft my story. And you speak to it, tell it all the information you want to tell it. And in seconds, an algorithm spins a tale, vivid holograms of thriving rainforests, personal anecdotes drawn for your social feeds, woven with data on carbon sinks that could save a village. Flawless, except, is it yours? We face this question a lot. Does it capture the sweat of your first protest under Nigeria's relentless sun? The raw fear in a mother's eyes as floods, does it capture this information? Or has the machine polished away the grit that makes leaders like you unforgettable? This is a very powerful illustration that I think that we should be open to, because these are ongoing conversations. Some of it we don't have answers to them. Some of it, they are individuals determine the kind of answers we give to them. All right. Now, this isn't science fiction. I hope you know that. It's our reality. It's our accelerating reality, and it's going on. It's been going on for years now, and if they continue to go on, there can only be improvement. You hear of new tools springing up. We've heard of ChatGPT, we've heard of Delhi, we've heard of Grok more recently now. We hear new tools, Claude AI, and all of those things that can craft a personified story for you, and this is very important. Now, again, journey with me in 2025, the global AI market hits, and this is statistics now, hits $300 $391 billion. I'll say that again. The global AI market hit $391 billion, rocketing towards $1.81 trillion by 2030. That's a staggering statistics, just in 2025. All right, AI market hits $391 billion and is moving towards $1.81 trillion. That's a huge statistic, and I think we should pay attention to it very much. And these are not just numbers. I hope you are taking note of that. These are not just numbers. It's a tidal wave reshaping how we lead, how we architect stories that move mountains, and how we craft digital narrative that bridge continents. But now, here is the God point statistics that wake you up. It should wake you up. By 2025, AI could eliminate 85 million jobs worldwide. Yet, I hope you are not oblivious to this fact. World Economic Forum, made mention of this. In 2025, 85 million jobs will be eliminated worldwide. Yet, it will create 97 million new ones. That's a net gain for humanity. 12 million net gain. I mean, more jobs will be created. So you see, the advent of AI is both a gain and a loss. Just like in the season when we began to move from typewriters to computers, some people lost their job. As much as computers replaced human efforts in typewriting, it also created newer jobs. So for folks who can see where the future is, they are able to handle it, then they are able to do something with the future they are seeing. All right. Now, 63% of organizations, plan AI adoption in the next 3 years, but only 15 to 26% of leaders, the vanguard, are truly ahead. It means that you, we, me, and you that are able to be in this 15 to 26% are truly ahead. Reporting over 25% revenue growth by blending human intuition with machine precision. So, we must be able to understand what AI brings. This is not speaking of replacing the mind, the human mind with AI tools. No. But this is speaking to us using AI to even grow our business. Yes, AI can help you grow your business if you can use it wisely, and that's why you should listen to this particular episode. It will help you learn how to craft stories, how to craft your own stories. Now, first, the landscape in 2025, 78% of organizations worldwide use AI, up from 50% in 2022. So you can imagine the difference. A source driven by generative tools like ChatGPT-4 and DALL-E, in creative industries, this manifests as hybrid professionalism, right? Where humans and machines co-create. So talk of co-creation, not just relying on human now, but co-creation, because machine has years of data and billions of data. You see, John Pavlik in 2023 study in digital journalism calls it a new paradigm. Journalists, filmmakers, and marketers become curators of AI outputs, blending machine speed with human soul. Think of it this way: AI handles the scaffolding outlines, data visualization, even initial drafts, freeing you for the emotional core. A 2025 NISA report reveals 33% of executives now use AI daily for such tasks. You see, I've often said this, I tell this to folks, that entry jobs are no more, especially in the creative, like writing, for instance. Entry level roles, you can't play the entry level thing anymore. You have to bring something more than just what AI can do. You see now, so because it's being replaced, and this is signaling a leadership edge that we must evolve as leaders. But let's make this relatable. I want you to picture this now. Raj, a 28-year-old social entrepreneur in Mumbai, right? He's bootstrapping an edtech startup to teach coding in rural India. Right? Pre-AI, he'd spend weeks scripting grant proposals. I mean, if you've written grants, you can relate with what I just said now, right? You know, developing stats on statistics on dropout rates, you know, hypotheticals of empowered kids, you know, becoming innovators, all of this. And now AI crunches UNESCO data. It means that in seconds AI can develop data even from UNESCO, WHO, any of these world organizations in seconds. What you will spend weeks doing, AI will do it in seconds. Now it also crunches India's 260 million out of school children and generate a narrative from mud huts to code camps. One girl's journey mirrors India's digital dawn. You see what I'm saying now? Rat tweaks it with his aunt's folktale. You know, every situation have a folktale. He tweaks it with his aunt's folktale of the clever weaver, you know, infusing cultural heartbeat. You know, the result is a $500,000 grant in months, lost in months. You know, this is a humanistic win. The story isn't just funded, it feels alive, rooted in Raj's heritage as pardon my pronunciation now, Kanta the Halves of 2023, imagining AI explores. Such narratives counter dystopian tropes, turning AI from enslaved mind to empathetic ally. From enslaved mind to empathetic ally. I must see AI as an ally rather than see it as an enemy, you know, that is empathetic. You must see it as an ally, you know, rather than an enemy, you know. And I want to quickly speak to the reason why we must see this as a pivotal and important aspect of what we are doing. Let's start by stating the stakes, right? Artificial intelligence and intelligent agents are scaling across business functions, reshaping jobs and leadership roles. Again, the World Health Organization Forum's recent research forecasts large-scale job and skill shift across industry, like I mentioned when I started, and says the coming years will create many new roles while transforming old ones, meaning leaders must anticipate change, not react to it. So I'm speaking to your heart, dear leader. Anticipate change, be a part of the change, don't react to it, don't be reactionary. I want to, you know, also speak to the fact that technology can generate outcome, humans decide meaning and purpose. You know, storytelling, the ability to craft narrative that attract talent, align themes and mobilize communities is the built-in human advantage. All right, is the built-in human advantage, right? Defining, you know, what we do, you know, and we must be at the forefront of this change. All right, so I want to speak to definition and framing now, just so we are clear about what we are doing. You know, just three concepts I want to just speak to. That is leader. From the topic, leader is someone who sets direction, creates conditions for others to act, and is accountable for outcomes. Story architect or digital narrative crafter, you know, is a leader who deliberately designs digital stories, brand narratives, internal narratives, product narratives across channels and touch points, whether human-centered or evidence-backed, and built to work with intelligent systems. All right, so that's story architect or narrative crafters. Now, when we speak of intelligent machines, we are speaking of a that's AI. I mean in simple words, AI, including generative models and agentic tools that can plan and execute multi-step workflows. And a McKinsey survey shows organizations are moving from experimentation to scaling. Many are already using AI in at least one business function, all right, and a growing share and are exploring agentic systems that take actions across workflows. This matters because the tools you will lead with today will be the tool your team wake up to tomorrow, and it's very important, right? So let's look into the science of storytelling, or like some people would like to say the art of storytelling, but I chose to say the science of storytelling, right? Using evidence storytelling improves learning and retention when your storytelling is evidence based, and I'll speak to this as we go on. Cognitive research and leadership studies shows that people remember facts far better when wrapped in narratives. I mean, you can remember some folk tales. If you're told, I personally, there are some tales from my younger days that I can still remember till today. Practically, stories build identity, trust, and alignment. And this is Harvard-backed research. In that research, it shows that well-crafted organizational stories move people to action in ways raw data seldom can. For instance, a startup CEO wants to shift from feature releases to mission-led product sprints. Instead of memos and mandates, she crafts a 3-minute digital story, a short founder narrative, a customer vignette, a crisp feature states image. She distributed it as a short video and as a note to an AI assistant that personalizes follow-up for each member. All right, it results in faster alignment and more meaningful feature design. And this is very important, very, very important. I can't state this long enough. All right, and again, this has been Amogate Radio Communication, under Amogate Consulting. At Amogate Consulting, we help you create strategic stories. We help you create brands that last. Speak to your brand and everything we've been talking about here. We help you check your business, help you create strategies, and help hold your hand in executing those strategies. So again, at this point, I'll take a break, and this has been Amogate Radio Communication, where we talk about things that concerns your business and leadership. My name is Kola Johnson. I'll see you after this short break.
Amogate. Our uniqueness is that we do not just work for you, we work with you. For example, we do not leave you to the task after sourcing talent, but will help the new hire settle into robust leadership development programs. We are technical experts in advising and supporting institutions on strategy and leadership, artificial intelligence, strategic human resource management, public sector reform, finance, audit and tax, FAT, and strategic communications. We do all this and more out of a desire to transform nations through institutions and organizations. For further inquiries, email contact@theamogate.org or call +234 810 999 6666, +234 807 957 4151, and +161 0504 6026. www.theamogate.org. Amogate, building to endure and transforming nations through institutions and organizations.
Welcome back to Amogate Radio Communication. My name is Kola Johnson, and the program is Leadership, Technology, and the Future. I will be talking about story crafters in the digital age and how you can become better with your business as a leader, as someone who is leading the frontiers of change in the global event of things. So continue with me as we continue on how intelligent machines change the storytelling landscape. Right, intelligent machines let leaders develop the same core narrative personalized for each individual segment, like investors, right, frontline staff and customers at scale. For instance, a leader can have an AI produce tailored, and this is very important. What I want to say is very important. You can have AI produce a tailored narrative for sales. We've seen this happen, and it keeps happening, and it's very important we are informed about this. Engineering and customer success from a single source story. Practical statistics: maintain a single canonical narrative, that is what I call the North Star, and let AI produce audience specific variants, right? You must maintain the North Star. I will still speak to this, but let's go on. Even as I speak to the new risks, authenticity and misinformation, machines can generate plausible but false story. Don't forget that. Plausible but false story. All right. Leaders must own verification. I've said this over and over. If you go to my previous episodes, you see where I mentioned this over and over, that we, the leaders, the onus lies on us to own the attitude of verifying stories that AI generates for us. Provenance and ethical framing tactic. This is the way you should go about it. It requires human review and transparent provenance statements for any AI crafted narrative. So don't run from AI, use it, but own the narrative. It must speak to you, it must speak to what you do. All right. So let me move quickly to the 5 C's, what I call the 5 C's of story architecture for leaders. 5 C's of story architecture for leaders. And the first one is core. I mentioned the other time, North Star, that is the true north, right? Which is called the core. 5 C's, the core. This is your central idea, the mission or transformation you want people to join. For example, we exist to make a smallholder farming profitable. That's your North Star, that's your anchor, that's your core. All right. The second one is the context, right? The data and environment that make the story credible. Now, use market statistics, user insights, and AI derived analysis. For instance, you can combine local crop yield statistics with AI summarized farmer interviews. See, AI is profitable, but we must know the ethics of using such tools. And the third one is characters. Every story must have a character, human protagonist and antagonist. All right, that's what makes a story. In screenplay writing is one of the things you must understand. One of the things that makes up a story for playwright or anything is that you have a character. Without characters, you don't have a film, you don't have anything. So the same thing, when you're telling a story, there has to be a protagonist and an antagonist. You must give voice to users, give voice to teammates, or the system challenge. And here's an example: a short profile of Aisha, the farmer. You are giving voice to her. All right, make the character speak. That's a very important thing. Number 4, currency, that is value exchange. These things I'm saying, they are very important, and you must understand them. What's the need for the need for the listener, right? Clarify benefits and trade-offs. For instance, you can talk about faster market access versus initial learning curve, right? You must bring a value to the table. And then we now have a call, or what we call CTA, call to action or measurement, right? What should listeners do next, and how will you know if they did? Define one measurable behavior, maybe sign up, pilot, share feedback, and all of those things. You can define it. And here's what I want you to do this week, right? I'll still give you some other things that I believe that you should do. I want you to use the 5 C's to develop your own story this week and see the transformation it brings to your brand. All right, use the 5 C's that I call the core, which is the true north. The second one is the context. The third one is the characters. The fourth one is the currency. The fifth one is the call to action, right? The call you make. Now, real world cases, or maybe hypothetical, but these are real world cases. All right, imagine a global NGO launching a youth skills platform. Here's the problem: low trust in government training programs. And the story architecture must be like this, or should be like this. Center a youth graduate, which is the character. So have a character, show context, employability stats, promise currency, that's micro certificate plus job interviews, and CTA, that is join the pilot. So you can use AI actually to create learner-centered onboarding and to personalize email nudges, governance, and you can humanize it in that sense. So I've used this example to this particular situation to use the 5 C's in telling a story. All right, but moving on, let's look at measurement and governance and ethics. You will tackle the hard but necessary parts: how to measure narrative impact and how to govern AI assisted storytelling. Very important. And these are metrics to track: measure recall, message recall, sentiment change, behavior change, and trust indicators. You might want to use rapid micro experiment to iterate. All right, and these are the governance pillars. You want to look at accuracy, that is, you must verify facts and provenance. Transparency, disclose AI assistance where appropriate. Equity, ensure narratives don't reinforce bias. Human oversight, humans that own decisions, and moral accountability. So here is the leadership behavior you should cultivate as a leader. Number one is curiosity, and a lifelong learning. You must develop curiosity, experiment with tools, but don't be passive, right? Experiment with new tools. Don't just sit and you must be curious about the future. Number two is narrative competence. Practice concise storytelling. What makes you a storyteller is because you tell a story. So you must practice concise storytelling. Number three is technical literacy. We must understand what AI can and cannot do, right? Develop that technical literacy. Number four is ethical discernment. So cultivate moral imagination. We speak of morality here a lot, right? Number five, systems thinking. Design stories as part of systems. I believe that these things are very important in our world today. All right, and in an age of intelligent machines, leaders win by designing meaning. The tools are amplifiers, but meaning, trust, and moral clarity remain human work. And here is my call to action to you. And before I give the call to action in this concluding part of this program, I like to say again that Gate Consulting is a powerful platform that you can use to elevate, give your business a facelift, help your business progress. And we have a platform called the ASAP, where is a platform where you can use that framework to actually create strategies, new strategies for your business, new strategies for your organization, and you can move forward through that. So if you've been enjoying this, you are just a DM away. You can just message us on any of our platform, contact us on our email, and you can just visit our website also, so you will understand what we stand for and what we do. I hope it's been a fruitful one. And here is the call to action as I bring it to you, as I bring this program to a close. This week, pick one message you need people to believe. Write the one sentence call, pick your character, and run a 1 week micro experiment using an AI assistant to create audience specific drafts. All right, measure one behavior, tell us how it went. You can just tell us, you can give us a feedback on this, on how it really went. But while you use AI to generate these things, let ethics govern you. It must be humanistic. You must put a human face to what AI is giving to you, and you must not be lazy about it. Don't be passive. Actively curate what the future looks like. And I'll be seeing you on the next program on Amogate Radio Communication. I hope this has been a fruitful conversation for you. I hope you've been able to learn something for your business and leadership. I'll see you on the next one. Till then, bye bye, and I'll see you on the other side of this bye. Thank you.